Hello, YouTube. All right, so I got some cards to show you. And this is my first time ever submitting trading cards to any company. And I'm more of like into coins or comics. I've never submitted comics for grading, but I'm more into like, seriously, like silver coins, gold coins, things like that. So this is my first time actually submitting trading cards, 47 of them. I wrote this all out so it wouldn't sound stupid on YouTube. But anyway, so 47 trading cards to HGA. I chose HGA because in August, when I submitted these, PSA and other grading companies were a lot more expensive, and they were taking a long time to get stuff back. So I figured, all right, cool, I'll submit to HGA, and they're out of Knoxville. I pretty much have had all these cards since I was 12. So 34 years ago, back in like 88, I started riding my bike like normal kids in the suburbs here of Chicagoland, and would spend my money or any extra spending money that my grandfather, parents would give me, and we'd go buy trading cards. And the shop was by a Jewel grocery store, and they also sold comic books in there, and next door was Blockbuster Video. So if you were a little kid back then, you'd either blow your money on trading cards, comics, or you'd go next door to Blockbuster and go rent some Nintendo video games and hang out with your friends and all that other stuff. So anyways, a lot of these cards are from when I was younger, and I kind of stopped collecting probably as I got a job as a teenager and whatnot. I just stopped trading cards, period. But in that short period of time, I did collect a lot of something that was fun, and put them in albums, traded with friends, this and that. So anyways, long story short, so this is my first time doing it, and I just want to walk you guys through it. So anyways, I create an account, you add cards to submission. You put the info about the cards, you select the turnaround time. At the time in August, it was $20 per card. Now I believe it's 25, and that was a 60-day turnaround time. Okay, that was August 21st last year. I know I put 22 on there. It's a typo, but it's 21st. Put your billing info in, follow package instructions, and mail cards to them. All right, so when you do that, get your cards together. You have to buy these cardboard gold saver ones. I got them from Amazon. I forgot what I paid for them, but I got a bunch because it was cheaper just to buy it in bulk. And you put them in these like little card sleeves, and then you put in this, and then you submit it. So it kind of looks like this. And that's how you submit it. I forgot if you put a number on there or whatever, but you use painter's tape. But anyways, then you submit it. I used a small United States Post Office small flat rate shipping box. I've got a lot of those supplies here as well. But that was the cheapest and fastest way and safest way to get the cards over there. So it's like one of these things you can pick up from your post office. And at the time it was, small flat rate box. It's free. So I submitted 47 cards, which are this size, and they easily fit inside this whole thing when you make a box out of it. Anyways, at the time, $7.90. So I shipped it to them, got confirmation, and $20 a card. I spent $940, so they ding your card right away. I spent that on the shipping, and then just a couple days ago, they emailed me and said, hey, we're going to mail you these cards back. And then they charge you again for $12.26. And then today is the 8th. I received my cards. All right, so I'm going to do the unboxing so you can see how these things come. So it comes in this big, giant box. And it comes from Hybrid Grading Approach, or HGA. And they're based out of Knoxville, Tennessee. And they sent it UPS, so the UPS dude dropped it off. I've got a Ring camera, so anytime a package gets dropped off, I literally go outside right away and grab it, or my wife does, or someone from my family. So we don't leave packages sitting outside. But they're kind of cool. They did like a security seal, tape here, and then tape there. So, and I got my address out of there. So I've already like opened these, so this isn't like my first time opening it, but I wanted to kind of like organize them. But anyways, I'm gonna do this in order. So these are not from my childhood, but I'm a big Chicago Bears fan. So Jim McMahon was on his way here for autographs for one of his books at the Hard Rock. So I bought a bunch of cards and I was going to take them to him to have him sign one. So I picked up some rookie cards. But anyways, this is what the grading labels look like, and they ship them in these like bags, which is nice. And I have no clue how to tell if one, you can kind of see if something's centered or has good edges, but I just grabbed a bunch of cards that I bought from eBay pretty cheap. And I'm like, I never had a rookie card because I couldn't get this card in 88. Number one, football cards back in 88 probably were not that popular. Neither were basketball cards because most kids collected baseball cards. That was where things were at, kind of during the junk wax era. And as a kid, I wasn't the one going to card shows and say, oh, I like Jim McMahon, I'm going to go pick up his rookie card. You would just kind of go to the store and whatever came in the pack or whatever you can get your hands on, that was it. You didn't really go to trade shows for trading cards. I mean, they existed, but you kind of had to have a lot of money to do that. Anyway, so I bought a bunch of these from eBay, not graded, and I sent them in raw. So I got quite a few of these, and I like how they do their labels. Kind of match the card. So I got a bunch of 8.5s. And it ended with one as an 8.0. So basically, for one of my favorite players, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. There should be some more in here. Yep, I got 4 8.5s and 1 8.0. So happy about that. That card, I did my research on eBay. So the McMahons, there's not too many comps, but I figure 8.5, I can ask like $50. I've got really a top rater status on eBay, so I've already gone through like all these cards to kind of see what I can get. And again, that's what I think I can get, but reality is, card market can change. Things can happen. This was a card from when the Bears actually won the Super Bowl. That was the 86 Bears. So again, I did not own this card, so I bought this also from eBay just to send in to get graded. But really, I grabbed it because I was going to have him sign it when I met him. And this is the card that's actually more special because I was 10 years old when the Bears won the Super Bowl. So again, I bought this card raw on eBay. Took it to the book or whatever thing that it wasn't like a book signing, but he was just he announced like a video of his career. And again, it was at the Hard Rock in Gary, Indiana. And I got to meet him after he, talked on the stage, and he was kind of off to the side. And my wife and I like ran over there, even though we really weren't supposed to. We ran over there. I'm like, hey, Jim, I'm a huge fan. Can you sign my card? It means a lot to me. I was literally like 10 years old, I was a young kid when that all happened. So it's pretty cool that he was cool enough to sign it, and really nobody else like went over to him for autographs. Like you had to like buy something or whatever. But anyways, I don't really care about the card itself. I was more like this. That was really cool. Felt like a little kid again. I'm 40. I'm going to be 46 this year, but it's cool, kind of like seeing one of your heroes, back in the day. And this is how HGA, they put the autograph on the back. So they gave the auto a 10, and I didn't have to pay anything extra to have them authenticate the autograph. So I thought it was pretty cool. So this is probably one I'm not going to sell. Like I'm going to keep this. There really aren't any comps, but I mean, around here in Chicagoland, this card raw probably worth $80. So I would assume this is like around 100. And this one here at this grade is probably like a $30 card. Again, that's like full retail, eBay, no other competition. So that's my Jim McMahon pile. Again, I'm a huge Bears fan, so I'm gonna keep this one. I'll probably keep a rookie card and then and this card, because I think this card's cool. So I'm probably going to keep like these 3 and then sell the rest. So that's my McMahon pile. And then as a kid, I also liked... I wasn't really into reading the comics. Like I would kind of read them, but I don't know. I wasn't like young enough where it made sense. I was more into like sports and stuff. So I saw these cards, and for whatever reason, I thought they were cool looking. And again, when you're a kid and you go to these trade shops, you're really going in there. You want like the hottest card at the time. So it was like David Justice or Ken Griffey Jr., Frank Thomas. Bo Jackson was a big name back then. Obviously Michael Jordan, the Bulls. But again, kids didn't really go in there to collect basketball cards. It was baseball. So when you had like these comic cards, I thought the art on them, as a kid, I'm like, wow, these are really cool looking. So I only bought like literally like 2 packs, and that's what these look like. So this one's funny. So I did put on my submission Warpath, 1994, but this is not Warpath. This is Nightcrawler Excalibur. I think he's one of the cooler characters that you've seen like in the movies. So it's kind of jacked up. It's got the wrong label, but it is what it is. So I just wanted to get a few of these actually graded. So I'm going to be selling this one. I've got other comics and stuff that I sell in my store. That's a different story. Next up is Deon Sanders. Again, he was primetime. So you had Bo Jackson back then. You had Deon Sanders. So this was the first Deon Sanders card through Upper Deck. And Upper Deck came out in 1989. So this was the 1990 Upper Deck, and Deon Sanders was considered a rookie. So it's a cool card. He's got his headband on. He's got his, afro sheen or whatever he's got going on. He don't give it an F, right? And still a huge fan of Deon today. Like he's, one of the announcers on, I think, NFL Network or whatever. But he was awesome, like literally awesome to watch, back then. So, but again, 8.5 grade, whatever. I'll probably sell this card. I've got other ones. I would ask $60 for it. Next is Carl here. So Carl was when I was a kid, they would sell like these random packs of older baseball cards. So you would go in. It was weird. So like your grocery store or your trading card store, what they would do is like just grab a bunch of random cards, put them in a pack, and you'd open it. So sometimes you'd get like old cards from like the 70s or 80s. I think it was just a way of them recycling cards that people had already picked through. But anyway, so when you came across like someone like this, and as a kid, you didn't know like who this dude was because he wasn't playing anymore in 88, but you check out the stats because that's what we did as little boys. And, it's like, hey, this guy's got a great... He can hit some home runs. He's got a great average. So I naturally, as a kid, was like, man, this guy's pretty awesome. This card's really weird looking to me because I was born in 76, so I obviously didn't have any 72. So anyways, this is one of those cards that I grabbed from one of those common packs back in the day that I probably absolutely overpaid for. And I'm like, I'll just get this graded. Who knows? But I guess it's a kind of a rare card, graded. So this one here, supposedly a $70 card. Again, that's retail on eBay, guys, so don't destroy me in the comments. Next is Harold Bain. So growing up here in Chicagoland, we had the Chicago White Sox and we had the Chicago Cubs. I'm kind of a fan of both, so don't yell at me for that, but I've been to both ballparks many a times, and I kind of root for whoever is, doing well that year. But this one's kind of cool. Harold Bain's obviously is a legend here for the White Sox. I think he's coaching for the White Sox this year, but this is his rookie card. So again, this is one of those cards where I got in one of those random packs because this is from 80 or 81, and I would have been 5 years old when this card came out. So obviously this was just one of those random packs. I'm like, cool, I'll get a Harold Bain's rookie card graded 7.5. Comps are like $30, so probably gonna lose money on that one after grading fees. Next is the kid here. So Ken Griffey Jr. Got 2 of those. So one was a 7.0, one was a 9.0. Again, these were fresh pulls when I was a kid. Really excited back then to pull these cards. Until later on, 20 years later, you realize they totally duped us as kids. They made millions and millions. They totally overproduced all these cards. So anyways, The 7.0 should be worth 25 bucks or 20. So again, I'll probably lose money on that one. And this one here, the 9.0, is probably a $35 card. Again, there's just such an overabundance of them. You can still find them raw for pretty cheap. And now this company's charging 25. So, you know, unless you get a 10, which are super rare, or a 9.5, it's probably not worth grading. But again, I grabbed this when I was a kid, so whatever. Like, I just wanted to get it graded. So I'll probably hang on to one of them. Then again, guys, don't yell at me, but I'm not an expert. So I just had this card, you know, random with my football cards. It's Joe Montana. Can't go wrong. It's not that old though. It's from '84. I didn't know it was in this bad a shape. You know, they got pretty nasty on the surface. And that's probably just me, how I stored this. Like, this was not in like a special folder. It literally was like in, you know, one of those plastic holders where you stack all the cards together raw. It was probably sitting in there, you know, for however many years. And it probably came out of those one count packs, and, you know, there's a little something, yeah, there's like a little creasing on the card. So again, this is probably dumb. I probably shouldn't have submitted this, but whatever. I'll call it a $25 card, but I'll call it a loser because it probably costs more than what it's worth to sell it to get it graded. All right, here's the next stack. Can't go wrong with Cal Ripken. So this was his 89. And Cal Ripken is, this is again another card I probably shouldn't have sent in to get graded, but whatever, I did. It's probably worth 25, so lose money on that. Next is the Storm card from the Marvel series from 1994. And again, it's one of those packs. I bought one pack, and I thought this was a cool looking card back in '94 when I bought it. This I got later on, so obviously that was not '88. So I probably picked this up. We'll see. '94 is when I graduated high school, so I probably spent one of my Burger King or McDonald's checks on this card just for old time's sakes. I don't know. You know, when you're a younger teenager, you'll spend money on stupid stuff. So back then it was either on trading cards, comics, going to the movies, going to the arcade, renting Blockbuster video things, trying to solve, you know, playing video games and things like that. But anyways, so this card here, again, I really like how they do these labels. They kind of match the card. So an 8.0, there aren't a lot of comps, but I think this is like an $80 card just because it's rare. People are selling these for raw. I mean, it's a really nice looking card. Again, this has the plastic thing on it. I'm not going to take those off until I do photos. And it's 1 of 9. So again, one of those cool cards you don't see all the time. So this card here, this one's cool. So it's a 7.0 Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from 1978-79. Obviously, I was 2 years old, right, when this card came out. So when I was young, I think it was 10 or 11, Mom took me to a garage sale, and there was a teenage, or maybe a guy in his early 20s, just selling his old cards. And this was one of the cards that was in his stack. And I remember at the time, I was young, maybe I was like 12, 13, and he was laughing. He's like, I can't believe how much these cards are worth. Because like cards back then, no one really, you know, there wasn't the internet and stuff like that, so people really know what cards are worth. So something like this was like, whatever, you know. So I think he laughed when like he thought he was robbing me when he just like sold this to me for $1 or whatever. I'm like, no, I'll take this one because, you know, everyone knows who Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is. He was in that Bruce Lee movie. He was in Airplane. You know, this guy's super famous, and he's still like an ambassador for the Lakers. Pretty sure he was the Hall of Fame guy for Magic Johnson. So, I mean, this guy's a legend, right? So anyways, the card was never in that great of a shape because, like I said, I was just sitting raw at the table at the garage sale. But for something I picked up for $1, I was just more excited to see that. Because again, when you're little and you're not used to having these cards in your hand because you didn't see them, that was like someone older than you would have this in their collection. That you wouldn't hang out with, right? It would be like a 25-year-old or something. So anyways, this card here comps for $150. So I'm pretty happy with this one. I think I might keep it just for sentimental value, or I might sell it. Again, I can always pick up another one of these. But again, it's something I picked up at the garage sale. Then we can't go wrong with Michael Jordan. So a 7.5 on this. It's a 92. So again, this is probably one of those cards you would just like randomly pick up. The Bulls were awesome here in Chicagoland. So Believe it or not, though, I don't have a ton of Michael Jordan stuff for whatever reason. Like everybody and their mother around here would hoard Michael Jordan. So it was very hard and difficult to find these because everybody wanted them. So if they got it in a pack, they wouldn't be selling it because he obviously was still a massive superstar back in 92. So again, I really like how these labels are. This card here is not super expensive, probably comp out $40. Was probably hoping for a better grade, but you know, it is what it is. It's, again, something I bought as a kid, so whatever, who cares? This next one is interesting. So Pro Set came out in like 89, and this was like one of those junk packs. I bought like a whole pack of Pro Sets. It wasn't a set, it was just like a bunch of cards that were sitting in wax packs. And Pro Set in 89 was kind of like one of those loser cards. Like nobody really collected them because they're kind of ugly. And at the time in 89, it was like you either bought Tops or you bought Score, or Upper Deck was like super expensive. And then there was this brand called Pro Set. And this thing's like, you know, the centering's kind of really bad. I mean, it's an ugly card, but, you know, look who it is. It's Barry Sanders. Like, to me, one of the best running backs, most entertaining running backs to watch as a kid growing up. It's just amazing how quick and nimble he was. And just, like, I was always impressed. Like, his legs were freaking huge. He was such a short guy, but he could, like, basically cut and juke out anybody. Like, no one could tackle this guy. Anyways, that was his official rookie card when he got signed. Super cool guy, very humble. I don't think he ever spiked the ball when he would score a touchdown. He just, you know, he was just pure business. So, again, one of those superstars that definitely a Hall of Famer. But anyways, this card here I would say comps out around $70 on eBay. I might keep this one. I might sell it again because they're not that common. And this is like literally something I found going through my old collection. I was like, oh, that's Barry Sanders. And I didn't realize, you know, this set even had any winners. And I think there's like a Troy Aikman and there's a Deon Sanders, but I didn't get those in that full box wax pack set that I opened up, you know, when I was a kid. All right, next one is Kirby Puckett. Obviously, superstar, Hall of Famer. Always a big fan of watching him when I was a kid, so it was cool. Again, I don't think it's not his rookie card, is it? Maybe it is. I don't even know what his rookie card is. But anyways, this one comps out at $70. Again, this is one of those cards I picked up back in the day. Like they would sell 85 wax packs, so I probably picked this up at the baseball card / comic store in a wax pack, and you would just, you know, pay extra for the older ones and hope you get cool stars like this. Next is the Big Hurt, Frank Thomas. Obviously, you guys kind of know him for his Nugenics commercials nowadays, but this guy was something special. He still is. I mean, like he definitely could have played football. Like seriously, the size of a tight end. You know, what are his stats here? 6'5", 250 pounds. Like that's not your normal size of a baseball player. But enjoyed watching him grow as a player. He stayed at Chicago White Sox, I believe, his whole career. Definite Hall of Famer. And again, this is one of those cards. You can pick up this whole set, the whole 90 score set, pretty cheap for like $20. But this is one of those cards. Like as a kid, when you were grabbing scorecards, they were a little more expensive than the Topps ones. This was like the card you were looking for. So this was a very highly sought after back then, even though the Cubs have always kind of been a little more popular than the White Sox, but you know, you can't deny like how awesome Frank Thomas was. So it's really cool that after all these years, he turned out to be a Hall of Famer. And now when I watch like CNBC or other shows, I see a bunch of Nugenics commercials with him and Doug Flutie. And I think Saturday Night Live just did a skit on them as well. So whatever, you know, just you can't blame the guy. He's done a lot of sports casting around the area. Again, huge fan of Frank Thomas. This is probably a card I'm going to keep just because, you know, who doesn't like the Big Hurt? All right, so this next one, this was like the one I was like, oh my God, if this comes in like perfectly graded, even though it's from HGA, I might have like broke it out of an HGA and sent it to PSA because it's like one of those like 6-figure cards. But this is Joe Montana. So again, this was the card I picked up with the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar card at that garage sale when I was a kid. Obviously, Joe Montana, even like back in 90 or whenever I was at that garage sale, he was still huge, right? And Steve Young was kind of his backup when they blew out the Denver Broncos in that one Super Bowl. But I mean, you had Joe Montana, Roger Craig, Jerry Rice. Like, dude, I'm from Chicago, and I was a fan of the San Francisco 49ers. Like, they were like the nation's team. Now it's like supposedly Dallas, but this was like one of those cards as a kid. You're like, oh my God, like this guy has a raw Joe Montana, like, and then you're like, is this even his rookie card? Because again, you're a kid, you don't know, you're not used to seeing these cards. It was weird to see football cards and basketball cards because like no one really bought these. But this, even though it's like shows a second year, this is his official rookie card. So anyways, this out of the entire box is probably the highest valued card, I would say. So check out these grades. This is interesting. So the corners, I looked at this card. I'm like, man, I kept really good care of this card, right? I put it in like one of those nice holders. So the corners are good. Edges are good. Centering was like really good, but like surface, just whatever, just sitting in that garage in that guy's collection before I grabbed it as a kid and put it in, plastic. It's just the surface got a little bit lower, but other than that, I mean, that's really good centering. So, this card, comps out around $400. So this pays basically for half the submission. I'm not going to sell it though. This is one I'm going to keep, I think. Who knows? I got a lot of stuff. All right. So that's that stack. Let me see if I can get further down here. Oh, crapola. Sorry. These are the other Jim McMahons. I knew I had more of them. So those are cool. They all came back 8.5s. All right. So I'm going to kind of fly through these next ones. This next card here. So there's kind of a story behind this card. The Ken Griffey Jr. So again, kid riding my bike. The 89 upper deck cards. I think I was a 91. I might have been 8th grade going into freshman year in high school. Anyways, like these 89 upper deck wax packs back then were like expensive as a kid. Cause like you could grab the regular upper deck, which were, I think, pretty expensive back then as well. I want to say like $3-4, which is like a lot. Cause you could pick up a Donruss tops or whatever for $1. But these packs here, I want to say they were like asking $10 and they were getting them all day long because everybody wanted this card. Like upper deck was like super red hot. So, this was the very first and only pack I was able to afford as a kid. So rode my bike to the comic book select trading store across the street, came back, opened the wax pack I remember I was on the front of my house on my stairs with my friends there because they were excited too, like, oh, they want to see what I got. So I went through the pack and I still remember to this day, I was going through the pack and this bad boy, which is like the card to get for that year, was the one that was in there, and everyone was like, dude, no way. Like, it was really exciting as a kid. So again, I know the grade isn't the greatest. I was hoping to come back higher, but again, one of those cards, again, my surfaces aren't that great. So maybe I didn't do such a hot job as a kid, like putting these in whatever, but this was like my grail before this was my grail. I wish I was a little bit older and had, a ton of Michael Jordan rookie cards, but I don't. Anyways, so there's a cool story behind this one. I'll never sell this card, even though I know I could easily replace it, just because it reminds me of my childhood, just grabbing the card. And I think it's something cool now that it's finally officially graded. Just no more guesswork. Okay, next one is definitely Michael Jordan. Griffey. 8.5 comps out at $150. Pretty cool. All right, next one. Obviously, can't go wrong with Michael Jordan. So 1990-91, 8.5. Very nice card. I think I started collecting some basketball cards a little bit later as I got older. This one comps out at $70. Again, I like how they do the labeling here. Then again, I got Barry Bonds. Some controversy going around with him getting in the Hall of Fame, but this is his rookie card. These cards here were kind of interesting from Topps. So you got this one here, and then McGuire. These are like the two cool cards to get. Barry Bonds is rookie, and look how little he is. This is not McGuire's rookie. I think his famous card is the one where he's got the USA uniform. So I got an 8.5 of both of those. The Barry Bonds comps out at 50. The McGuire's probably not even worth grading. So like the 8.0, there's so many of these made back then. So the Maguire is like 25. So losing money on this one. And the 8.5 is like $35. And then this was the next card to get, Frank Thomas. I know Topps Tiffany is like his top one. This was just regular Topps. Like where I lived, they didn't have wax packs of Topps Tiffany. That was more like if you went to nicer areas or like professional card traders, for that. But anyways, these are straight from my collection as a kid, so it was cool to turn this card into HGA graded or an official graded card. So the 8.5 I think comps out at like 35, and this one I'll probably lose money on, $25. Then here's Bo Jackson. Again, I have a bunch of Bo Jackson, but this was like one of those cards I opened up in a wax pack, was really excited because Bo Jackson was definitely something to watch back then. He was also a White Sox later on after the Royals. And I really like this card. So this one comes out at $30. I'll probably keep this one just because it's Bo Jackson. So again, huge Bo Jackson, huge Deon Sanders fan. All right. Next one is one of those, like, I don't know why I sent this in to get graded. For some reason, like Cecil Fielder was like caught my eye, probably because like the dude was like huge, and then obviously he's got his kid that became like really awesome at baseball as well. But this guy could crank out some home runs, so he was fun to watch as a kid. Again, this card's probably pretty crappy. Don't know why I sent it in to get graded. Probably absolutely lost $20. So I would probably ask $20 just to get my grading fees back on it, but whatever. That's one of those things you just don't want to do. All right, this next card is a controversial card. It's the Bill Ripken, and it's got the FF on the bottom, which, is a bad word. So this is one of those I pulled as a kid. They started putting black lines through it to kind of cover up the the error, but this is probably one of the most famous errors cards around. It's like, seriously, you're gonna sell this to kids, and this guy's got F face on on the bottom. And this was I believe Cal Ripken's bro. So got a 7.5. There's a lot of these out there, but I was just wanted to get my own personal one graded. This one's like worth $50. I would definitely keep this card because it's just one of those cards you always remember about. All right, next guy is Ricky Henderson. I thought I had his rookie, but I didn't. I think this is his second year card. So again, these are just cards. I don't know why I sent them in to get graded. But, can't go wrong with Ricky Henderson. He is a Hall of Famer. This one comes out at $50. This is like his third year card. Again, cool card. I think they redid these recently. Yeah, I actually have a Shohei Ohtani one in there, redid like in this style. I just like this card. I thought it was a nicer card, but at 8.0, I mean, whatever. I think it comes out at $30. So I'll try and sell that and recoup some of my money back. All right, so this next card is pretty cool. So this was one of those things that came in this Marvel Universe series. So again, it's one of those random cards as a kid. I